This is just kind of a journal entry about having schizophrenia in the world and, you know, technology and like me having a specific diagnosis of no audible or visual distortions when I was diagnosed with schizophrenia 2 months after I turned 25. My doctor told me that, you know, it's not right now, but it could happen, might not, it might not happen. And that's what I was left with. So like everything going on in the world right now, me not having audible and visual distortions means I get the chemical imbalance from schizophrenia and have some I'm guessing from what I've read associative network issues, but no visual or audible distortions, and really like experiencing the chemical imbalance for the first time in my life after stopping taking the medicine 18 times, and went off of it slow and didn't get Baker acted or Marchman acted. I experienced it, and it wasn't for me. I want to be able to go in a store and hear the people talking in the line or whatever, and leave the store and go back to what I was doing. I don't want to be focusing on the nature of what they were talking about and the expressions on their face or why they were laughing at something that's really not funny and all this shit, you know? And anyways, so like, you know, the having the diagnosis with no visual or audible distortions, like, so I sat down and watched the news for 3 weeks, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. And after 2 weeks, I realized that I finally tuned in after 2 weeks of watching all day, every day, from the time I went up to the time I went to bed. I just stopped doing everything in my life. I was like, if my life's going to be shit, I'm just going to stop and do nothing. And I realized after 2 weeks of watching those 3 channels, like I tuned into all Fox News' bullshit, and I was just like, wow. And I go to MSNBC, CNN to get a narrative of topics in the court case and the felonies of Trump, and you know, I started going and looking at those 2 stations to like look at what Fox was doing, and I realized, man, they're just lie after lie after lie, or you know, I guess they might put it as, you know, we get the information off of wherever we hear it, and we can post on it without fact checking it or knowing if it's true. It was a law passed a long time ago, and and like, so one night after, you know, I realized that, and I'm like a couple more, maybe 3 weeks or whatever, I'm still watching the news throughout the day, kind of going back to trying to do stuff, and like, dude, I hear this lady on Fox News one night when I'm watching them, and I'm just watching them to keep up with the rhetoric, you know, and what they're doing to the conservative, Republican, Christian, whatever, how they're trying to influence them, man. And I hear this woman on the Fox News show say, it was right after, no, this was right after the trial, I think, ended, and the verdict was in, and like, she says, all Ukrainians are evil Democrat pedophiles. I fucking went, holy shit, this can't be real, dude. Like the thing they talk about with people getting stressed out and like not having the visual audible distortions ever, and being told it might and might not happen. I'm like, dude, this shit's got to be happening. And if it is, I can't believe how fucking real it looks. And like, you know, like, I was just like, holy shit, dude. Like, I mean, I fucking, for a few days, I got scared. I was kind of scared, and I went on the line and looked around a little bit, and I was like, okay, Fox says some really crazy shit, but that's really pushing it, because that's like some genocidal freaking statement. And I'm just like, I've got to fucking lost it. The thing is I saw her one more time on the show after she did that, and I haven't seen her since. After she did that, she was on the show one more time, and I haven't seen her. It's been a month, 2, I don't know, a long time, a while, and but yeah, like, and then Fox started doing even more crazy shit. So I like, no, it's not the visual audible distortion thing. she said that shit, and she's not on Fox anymore because of it. I mean, so that's like one thing with the whole thing, and like another aspect of this for me with the schizophrenia thing, and the aspect of misinformation. Well, you know, there, like, I made a video and talked about how this guy, like, he got a little violent with me one time. It wasn't super or anything, it was just, and so I started wearing a camera, and it's Bluetooth controlled, and it's got a speaker in there. You wear it around your head, it points here, little remote, and you can tap on it, and freaking, so I'm doing this to like protect myself from this guy, because he's lied on me 3 times and told other people that he doesn't remember, or he didn't say that, or whatever it is. Anyways, he said that shit, no one was around, and he did what he did. So I start wearing a camera with the Bluetooth remote. I leave the Bluetooth remote and just tap it to do it. But the thing is, and I think this is some bold shit, he comes up, approaches me 3 times, gets 75, 100 feet away from me, and it says stop recording. It has a little speaker. And another time, one time when he's there and those, I hit record again. Stop recording. You know, the thing is how can this shit work all the time? But, you know, so like, you know, a Flipper Zero, whatever the hell, and running my stream, and the devices in the house. The Flipper Zeros, the Wiresharks, the Hack RFs, man, you can tell, if you can write the software or find the software to do whatever, it's there. And like, so, you know, like, freaking people, like someone drives by on a golf cart outside the house at 12:30 at night or whatever, and the remotes to the 2 Roku's in the house unpair. And what I mean by misinformation is making a little device do something that unpairs my remotes, or makes it so the streams crash all the time, or the stream I have crashes, or the videos skip all the time on whatever we're playing, you know, or sometimes the internet just going completely out, you know. So it's like they've got these little devices now, and they can make these fake videos, and, you know, they can fuck with you in other ways, you know. When one of the frickin' recording things started happening, and it stopped recording every time it came around, and then I would try to play it again, and it wouldn't. I had a phone that I put a shoestring on. I just put one that I repurposed for camera, put it in airplane mode, and told it to record all day while I was working, you know. And I mean, it's like, that shit worked fine, you know. Why is it that at 3 o'clock in the morning, when everybody's sleeping in this neighborhood, I can take my dogs out for a walk and listen to my music uninterrupted, but I try and walk around here in the daytime while people are awake, and it stops all the time? And it's always this, it'll stop, and I'll sit there and I'll fuck with my phone for a second, and I'll look around. There's always a golf cart driving off. It's like a street down, and there I see a golf cart driving off every time the shit stops, or walking down the road, you know, and it just stops. And, you know, I mean, when I was working here at this park with Mark and Mike on maintenance, dude, it was so bad that when I was mowing, I would wear headphones and listen to music. It got so bad that I at times I would just give up on even trying to listen to music. And it's interesting, normally when I'm in the house they work fine, but walk around at 3 o'clock in the morning, work fine, but when people are awake, I can't do shit. I can't even listen to music out in the public, out here walking around or working, you know? I mean, and that shit with Mark, dude, the lion, and frickin', I just quit, dude. They tried taking my camera from me. I didn't like what they said to me when I told them I was going to quit, or if they didn't get a signature, and if they want me to, I left my keys, and I said, if you want me to come back, I will. But they didn't like that shit too much, and they said some shit to me, and I just quit over it. But I told them I was coming back, but I just put a note under the door for maintenance for Mike to get the next morning, and said, I'm done. It's been a bad experience. And, you know, and it's just like, I mean, it's freaking nuts, dude. In my whole life, all I've ever dealt with is people like pushing my buttons and pushing my buttons and pushing my buttons and pushing my buttons doing things that other people don't know about, or a few people doing things that other people don't know about, and they sit there and fuck with me and fuck with me, and then when I've had enough of it and say something to them, whether it be a little higher in volume or not, they fucking try and make me look like I'm a fucking lunatic because I have schizophrenia. Even when I didn't have schizophrenia, they did that shit, dude. You know? People in their fucking misinformation. Another example is misinformation is like, you know, someone wanting to show off in front of their girlfriend and starting a fight with me and you know, like, you know, dude, you know, here's another example of some shit, and you see it's like people do what they do in front of certain people, and they say shit in front of other people and try and create a certain type of face value of what they represent around them, and do other shit with other people or just me. You know, it's like you know, I don't make friends anymore, and I stopped trying to make friends a while ago. You know, I wound up in this, and this is in misinformation. Like, a guy's trying to start a fight with me so he can impress a girl or whatever. I didn't do nothing wrong. But let me explain the situation that happened. You know, and this is why I really decided to, like, really try and stop making friends, because it's just too much trouble. There's always a guy that you know, thinks that, you like, a girl might like me over them and they gotta get rid of me, or, you know, whatever, dude. And I ain't trying to take no one's girlfriend, dude. I ain't gotta do shit. But, like, I was in this one situation, and I had a friend, Nick, and we hung out a lot and did stuff together, and one time we were even shooting bottle rockets at each other, and I have a really good aim even with something like a bottle rocket, and I fucking shot it at him and it fucking blew up right here from a distance. We were putting them in pipes and pointing them at each other, but we did all kinds of shit together, and so these new people move in, or he's coming to see his dad. This kid shows up by where the apartment that Nick lives in, and he meets him. I guess it's for the summer or whatever, I don't remember. But he meets him, he's like, Matt, you gotta come over and hang out, da 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 da. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, here it goes. Me and Nick aren't gonna be hanging out much longer. So I stupidly do what I didn't want to do. Went and met him. And you know, I don't know what it was when I went in there, but there was like 3 or 4 girls there. We were like 16. And like, dude, they went off to another room. The guys went off to another. Some of the guys went off to another room, and this one guy sat in the living room, like, talking to himself, freaking sitting out there and like just looking pissed off, and so I'm sitting in there. These 4 girls come over and they start talking to me, and I'm like, man, I don't want to deal with this shit, dude. And like, so I'm sitting there and I'm fucking answering their questions and shit, and fucking you know, I'm like, this is bad, and these 4 girls are talking to me, and there's fucking the other guys are in the other room, and there's fucking this guy looks pissed off sitting over there, and so I, you know, leave, and anyways, time passes or whatever. It was a long time ago. And man, I'm like hanging out with them a little bit here and there, and I'm hanging out so I'm kind of hanging out with them. There's a community pool, and we all swim there, and like one day I'm off with 2 guys and 2 girls, and we're standing somewhere in the complex talking, and one of the guys comes up to me, and he pushes me, and like, you know, most of my life I've just taken ass beatings. Normally it's the best thing to do, and the story goes on. I'll tell you why I should have just took the ass beating. But what happened is he pushed me, and like, the other guy is another girl saying, I'm like, this guy's freaking like, I haven't done shit to anybody, and he's obviously trying to like impress these girls, and I told myself, I was like, dude, you are not letting this shit happen. Like, for the first time in your life, dude, I didn't want nothing to do with them. That's his girlfriend. He's trying to be a girlfriend, whatever, dude. There was some other guy that liked her, and I guess he wanted her first. I don't know. But the thing is like, he pushes me. And I told myself, and as time's going on, I'm like, dude, don't let him, you're not letting him do this. And I said, don't push me again. And he starts fucking, like, pushing me and, like, hitting me, and I'm like, and I back off, and I'm like, dude, leave me alone. And he fucking starts hitting me again. I went to Florida Sheriff's Youth Rangers Career Camp Association, and they taught us some shit there, and, well, I took him to the ground, put him on his chest, got his arms behind his back, put him up here to his head, and the fucking this other buddy came over to me, and he started coming towards me. He was maybe 20 feet away or some shit, maybe 30, I don't know. It was close, but he starts coming towards me. So, I got the arms in the position to dislocate his shoulders and disable him. So his buddy comes over to me, I said, dude, you put your hands on me and I will disable him. And the guy stops and looks at me and steps back. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, you put your hands on me, I'm going to disable him. So he runs off to go get help, and I'm sitting on top of this guy, and one girl starts coming over and putting her hands on me, and I was like, look, I'll disable him and deal with you next if you want to put your hands on me. And I'm still sitting on top of him, holding him, ain't done shit. So like, the girls run off, I guess, to go get help, and I'm on top of him, and he's fucking, and I'm like, look, dude, I'm gonna get up, and I'm gonna go that way. You get up, you go that way. Do you understand me? And he says, yes. I was tired of dealing with this shit, dude, and I wanted him to just go away. So what I said to him was, I was like, listen, I'm going to go that way. I'm going to get off of you. You go that way. And I'm going to fucking, you go that way. And I was like, fucking, if you even much as turn around, I'm going to fuck you up. And frickin' I let him up. And he didn't turn around and look, and I ran off. But that ended up turning into one of them coming up and punching me in the nose and breaking my nose, and man, I grabbed a log off of a fire stack at the pool, and after when he punched me in the nose, and he's fucking, I don't know what's coming next. I got this log in my hand, and I'm just like, anyways, I put the log down, went home, and the situation escalated from there, and the police got involved, and he got in trouble, and a bunch of stuff, and he was a runaway, and this and that, and that was that. So that's like an example of people creating misinformation and doing all this shit, and like, me doing nothing and getting messed with, and because the first time in my life I'm like, dude, you're not letting this happen, dude. You're not fucking gonna let this happen. And I did it. It escalated into this whole other thing. The police got involved. He got dealt with, and misinformation, man. I didn't do shit. My only mistake was hanging out with him after I already knew that I shouldn't even hang out with him, and probably because, fighting over who's gonna be whose boyfriend, and I wasn't, dude, I ain't even, like, listen, man, I'm that type of person, dude. I come into a group, dude, I ain't gonna try and be stealing people's potential girlfriends and starting shit, man. But that's what happened to me, dude. And like they try and do some shit, and I handle the situation, and the way I did, and fucking next thing I know, my nose is broke by someone who's a runaway from home, freaking over in the neighborhood, and he's gonna deal with me because freaking I stood up for the first time in my life, and it just, what the fuck am I supposed to do, dude? People want to go around and do all kinds of bullshit, whether it be fucking up my device with fucking information I didn't tell it to do, or freaking lying to people about freaking, like when no one's around and the shit you do and what you say happened and what actually happened and fucking, fuck, man. I ain't done shit to no one, dude, and there's these fucking narcissistic fucks like Trump and Elon Musk and fucking whoever else, dude. I gotta say, I don't really exactly feel that way about Bill Gates in a weird way for some reason, but I'll say something about him because when I look on Twitter, dude, his face is always there for me to recommended as someone to follow. I actually followed him. I hate fucking Microsoft Windows, but I actually followed him because Twitter's cramming it in front of my face all the time. Anyways, so like, I try hard to just live and let live and not interfere, and that's the shit people do, I don't get a fucking break. And the thing is, all these people want to fuck with me all the time. 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 I don't even try and make friends anymore. Tried hanging out with Mark and Mike over here. I just told you what the fuck happened with that. He's a dick. I made a video about it. Made a song with Suno AI about what he did to me. It's called The Maintenance Jam or something. And like people fuck with me, fuck with me, fuck with me, fuck with me, fuck with me. I stand up for the first time in my life, and that happens. But the thing is, look at the way I handled the situation. Look at the way I handled him. I told him twice, and then he kept his shit up. Took him to the ground, got him on his belly, put him in the disabled, either put him in the position to absolutely control him, 100%, or disable him if I have to. And I said, look, you touch me, dude, I'm going to disable him. And he didn't do shit, dude. No one got hurt. I told him, I'm going to get off of you. You go that way, I'll go that way. Don't turn around and look. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? No one got hurt. No one got hurt. They fucked with me, and I handled it in the best way that I knew how. Because for the first time in my life, I wanted to stand up for myself. People fuck with me, 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 fuck with me. I handle a situation, which I think I didn't do anything wrong, and they just want to fuck with me, dude. Try and make me look like an asshole, I mean, what was that guy going to say if the police would ended up there over us fighting? What would he have said? Oh, he fucking did this and fucking did that. Dude, I didn't do shit but go and hang out with a friend that I had, which we were no longer friends anymore after that, and fucking hang out with you guys. 4 girls come up and talk to me in there and whatever, and I get fucking, what the fuck, dude? And then I don't even freaking beat your asses, Like, what the fuck? That's my fucking life, dude. Go through life, that shit over and fucking over and fucking over again. I don't like talking about what happens between me and Jan online. I'm pretty sure she does it. I've been told she does it. Haven't looked. Don't want to know. But fucking, I don't. This. I have quit so many jobs because of people like Mark. So many jobs, dude. And look what he did because I tried to stay, dude. Fucking start lying on me and shit. Dude, I don't fucking stay at jobs when that shit starts, dude. I just quit. And if a manager's disrespectful to me, I'll wait. Fucking, if I need money, I'll wait a little while and put them in a desperate position and then walk out and say, fuck you, dude. You shouldn't have treated me like shit and disrespected me. You know? That's about the way I handle shit. If I don't just walk off the job because of a manager fucking not doing someone's bullshit, you know, and fucking blowing it off all the time, I'll just fucking leave, or I'll set their asses up for failure for a night, or for at least a night. Piss everyone off, you know? I show up to work every day, work hard, on time. Why are you gonna let this fucking dick fuck me up all the time in here? You know? And then he gets in good with the cook or the manager or whatever, so I'm stuck doing all the hard shit at that point. Fucking of course I'm gonna quit. Just wait for the manager for someone to disrespect me, and the freaking manager basically do nothing. Yeah, I walk out, set their asses up later if I want some money before I quit. Yeah. You know, and like I've done that so many times, just quit a job right on the spot over shit. And like, you know, my roommates that I've had rent in a room. Fucking they get pissed. People in their fucking misinformation and starting shit and going over and saying, oh, whatever they say to fucking make people treat people like shit and make everybody treat people like shit. You know? It's freaking insane, dude. Earliest freaking memories as a kid of people just fucking being nasty for no reason. Just look at me and fucking hate me. And another thing about information and misinformation in the body. I found a study at Stanford or Harvard University through Google Scholar Port that basically told me why I have schizophrenia. Because they gave me fucking Ritalin and some other shit when I was a fucking kid. Found the study. You know, so they fucked me up with that shit. Now I'm dependent on a freaking $2,600 drug according to this study. And now I'm starting to have freaking involuntary movements and shit. That's misinformation for the body, giving freaking kids a derivative of methamphetamine, a derivative. You know, Ritalin and freaking Adderall put me to sleep, man. Dude, there's all these people who take that shit. You know what, dude, that shit fucking knocks me out. I hated it when I was a kid. Fucking hated it, dude. I would take the shit, and I would take the shit, have to fucking go to sleep, and my mom would sit there and make me stay awake. Give me a fucking pill numerous times in the day, and then force me to fucking stay awake so I slept at night, dude. Do you know how miserable I fucking was? It's the most miserable shit, dude. A 5-year-old fucking basically drooling on himself? Come on. Freaking can't do anything but stay in one spot and maintain keeping their eyes open because the mom doesn't want me to go to bed or doesn't want me to sleep because I won't sleep at night as well? Are you fucking kidding me? That was complete and utter hell. Misinformation in the body and what it did to me, and now I'm dependent on this. I'm starting to have involuntary movements more, so now that's an even more expensive drug than what I'm fucking taking now. Fucking whatever reason, they felt that they needed to give me ADD, which they probably caused. You know, freaking they gave some woman some shit for morning sickness, and there were freaking a bunch of babies born without arms and legs. So whatever they gave me the freaking Ritalin for, now I have to take freaking psychotropics, and freaking now I have to take something for the side effects of the psychotropics, and my ass has been bleeding for freaking years, which I found CDP choline because I started taking neurotopics, which made the bleeding stop. So, you know, my ass has been bleeding for years because of the medication. The doctor wants to tell me I'm doing it with my head, but how is it I stopped taking the medication 18 times and my ass stops bleeding 18 times? What was that? How was that? How was my brain making my rectum bleed, making my butt bleed when I wipe? I mean, I take the medicine, it starts bleeding, and as I take it, it starts getting worse. Stop taking the medicine, get off the medicine, because I hate the shit, it makes me tired, and the bleeding stops. So she's going to tell me I'm doing it with my head because I don't want to take the medicine, but yet I have clear empirical evidence that I don't need to see another doctor. Maybe I need to be prescribed a newer medication that's 20 years old. You know, fucking, you know, like seriously, it's bullshit, dude. It's bullshit. I don't get any fucking breaks in life, dude. You know, none. Talk about misinformation for the body. Why is it I grew up and my feet were like this, and Gregory, one of my stepdads, freaking helped me straighten it out by forcing me to focus on it and walk on it for freaking ever, and it eventually straightened out. Run, Forrest, run! I'm a fucking retard, and everybody gets to treat me like shit and throw rocks at me and beat me the fuck up. You know what? At least I'm not Donald Trump and Elon Musk walking to the White House to do it from both ends. And then when they're done with it, done with the White House, they'll have their buddies come over and run a train on it. Yeah, people don't like my jokes. Let me redo that joke. So Elon, so Elon, when you and Donald Trump get to the White House, or when you and Donald Trump roofie the White House and do it from both ends, when you're done with it, when you're done with the White House, are you going to invite your friends to come over and run a train on it? Yeah, no one likes my jokes, and I don't blame them. Roofie the White House and all that. Yeah, fuck you guys. No one likes my jokes. Another thing, talk about misinformation. I'm sure you get the point. I try. My only mistake is that I stay in bad situations, try and stand up for myself, and once I do that, people can't handle it when I say no. It's like, oh, you've been saying yes for all this time and letting whatever happen, and now you said no, and they don't like that. And then at that point, like being in the situation before that was manageable, but once you get to the point where you stand up for yourself, whatever it is, whether it be saying to someone something about their drinking because they might fall and hurt themselves because of a condition, and you stick to your guns about it, and the whole reason they're drinking more is because their son did something because they didn't like their divorce hearing results because they made a big freaking mistake, you know, and she's drinking more and going to possibly fall, you know, like, I lost my train of thought. I'm just tired of it all, man. I just try and try and try. But what sucks about it most is see things all the time. I used to try and say stuff to people about like I don't know if I lived with them and try and say something, like there'd be something that they were getting themselves into or doing. You know, I basically had 2.5 years at Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch Association, 6 months at Boys Ranch, year and 9 months at, or however long, year and 9 months at Pruth Camp, and I got a lot of training there and learned a lot, and sometimes I'll just like see people, you know, that I live with or whatever, we're in a room from, and say something to them and be like, you know, you know, some people are accepting of it, but, you know, I don't do that. I stopped doing that a long time ago because people who aren't receptive to it, they don't receive it well, and there was one place when I first moved out when I was 16 years old, I was around these people in this neighborhood, and there was this woman there, and dude, the guy was drunk all the time, and she had kids and yelling, and she couldn't even walk outside and go be outside for a few minutes without him coming out looking for her, and like, you know, like I sat there and watched that shit for a while, and I saw the kids, and man, you know what? One day I had made a plan to never go around there again because I said some shit. And she had said some stuff to me. I was 16 and she was like, I don't know, man, she might have been like 30 or something. And I just hung out with her and ended up, I don't know if I lived next to her or what it was, but, or my friend lived next to her or whatever. But I told her, I was like, you know, I was like, this shit he's doing to you, I was like, I've seen what he's doing, and you know, you got kids, and you know, you can't even walk outside to do something that's house chores without him coming out here and looking to see what you're doing, and he's yelling, and he's drunk all the time, and she says like, yeah, I'm kind of stuck, and I love him, and I think he'll straighten up, and all that, and all this. We talked, you know, and it was the last time I was ever going to talk to her. And I said, you know what you ought to do? I was like, you know, I know you don't have a job, and you're doing what you're doing, and you got kids, and he's got you locked in here like that. But you know what you ought to do? Like fight to get a job, and just like, I don't care, like do stuff in the neighborhood, and put that money somewhere and hide it and save it up until you can frickin' get enough and sit there when you've got that money in your hand and think about, is it going to change? How much has it changed? Has it gotten worse? The kids are involved. They're sitting here experiencing all this crap and being exposed to all this very bad masculine behavior. And at the end of it, she said, she's like, you know what? She's like, you're right. She's like, I told her, I was like, dude, he is not going to stop what he's doing. And I told her, I was like, you can believe that as long as you want, but it ain't going to change. And she's like, she told me, she's like, you know what? I think you're right, and I think I'll try and do something about it. And she, you know, it put something in her head and made her think about it. Now, what actually happened and what didn't happen, I don't know, because after I said that shit to her, I stayed very, very, very far away from that neighborhood. Yeah, dude, this motherfucker, oh my god. It's just, I couldn't like stand seeing like her just come out to like freaking clean a mop out or something, and what are you doing? Come out and look out the door. What are you doing? Drunk, and the freaking kids and shit. I was like, oh my god, dude. You know, get in here. Yelling at the kids and shit. Fucking, oh my god, dude. Oh my god. People misinformation in their heads about what they gotta do and trying to make shit work and shit never changing, dude. My only problem is that A, I give people a chance, or something happens and I give them the benefit of doubt, or I love them and care about them so much that I keep putting myself in dangerous situations. That's my problem. I mean, you know, I love Jan to death, and we've been together 14 years. When she tried to kill herself with antifreeze, she put on like 35 years age in a month. She looked like she was 90. She was 65 and I was 32, or no, she was 52 and I was 32. And after she did that, our relationship was platonic. I'm her caregiver and friend, you know. I mean, if she didn't drink the way she did, a lot more stuff would happen around here. But you know, drinking for a week and a half from the time she gets up to the time she goes to bed, and it's turned in, when she does that, it's turned into consistent criticism and critiquing me, and I don't ever get to breathe, and every like after a week and a half, I'll get like she'll take a break for a few days, and I'll get like 3 or 4 days. I'll just start to feel better, and then the cycle starts again. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, dude. I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't ever want to be with another woman. You know, like I just want Jan in my life, and my dogs, and my information, and I just want to exist and be by myself. If she's not going to be in it, be with my dogs. You know. But that's my problem. Is I guess if I'm going to stay in a situation and start it out a certain way, even when they start getting more shitty, I should just, instead of standing up for myself when I think the line has been crossed and saying stop, or I just need to keep letting it go until I can get out of this situation so they remain as passive as they possibly can be. As long as I'm like in a work situation, but like I love Jan, I care about her. You know, it's a platonic relationship, but neither one of us have been with anyone else. She offered for me to go to a bar, and she said she didn't just want to hear it, she just didn't want to hear about it. And I said to her, don't start no shit, and I'm not interested in that, you know. And really my point is with the whole thing is the biggest part of me not doing what she offered and saying don't offer it again, please don't ever suggest it, I'm not interested, is she needs to feel secured. She doesn't need to think that I'm 40. See, that happened, I was like 37. You know, a 37 go out, get laid because she said I could and I did it, and then she started thinking about, you know, he's gonna go over and spend time or whatever it takes to get laid, and she's gonna start thinking, the next thing he might meet this other, have kids, or she's gonna leave me. And no, dude, dude, I don't need that shit. But second off, dude, she needs to feel secure and not be worrying about me going off and fucking getting some ideas in my head about starting a fucking family or something, you know? No, just that is the biggest thing of why I said, like, no, and please don't ever suggest it again. She needs to feel secure, you know? I mean, I got into the relationship, you know, and just because all these men steal a bunch, you know, like her ex-husband steals $16 million from her, she loses everything, you know, like all the shit that they did, and, you know, and for me to just, like, you know, because she became disabled, just get up and leave is not right, dude. You know, fucking, she got pushed over the edge. Her son tried to steal her son's basically participated in her house being stolen from her when we only owed $5,000, and I say it that way because she had already started paying for the house before we were together. I started paying half of everything when we got together, you know, and how does a frickin' son try and steal their house from their mother, you know? It's the biggest bunch of bullshit. And I know he's got some bullshit excuse on why he did it too. And when he wants to come and really mess with his mom again, I'm sure he's going to try and use it because supposedly they stopped talking completely for a while. Yeah, like I put up with his shit for frickin' like 10, 11 years, dude, this cycle. Him stop talking to his mom, start talking for a few months, and then him treat her like shit, and they stop and start, and every time he calls her, dude, it always ends in drama and a lot of drinking, a shit ton of fucking drinking for her. Then, and I told her, dude, after like the freaking 9th time of witnessing this cycle that takes about a year to complete, I told her, I was like, look, I don't want to see Joe. Dude, Joe has wrecked my life, dude, and I don't want to see him. I'm tired of of him freaking calling, and I'm calling, and I told her, I was like, listen, dude, if he starts talking to you again, and upsets you again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue staying here, because I don't like this cycle that happens about every year. Where he devastates, you get built up because you're talking to your son, you think he's doing what he should be, and then some little thing will happen, and it's all her fault, and she's a piece of shit, and Jan ends up depressed for 4 months, and then they won't talk, and it starts all over again. I told her, I was like, I don't know if you do it again, like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And I told her that shit, dude. I don't want nothing to do with Joe anymore. I don't want to see him, don't want to know him. And if he keeps calling every freaking, basically around once a year and disrupting our lives for 3 months, dude, I don't know if I can keep taking that shit. He hasn't called yet, though. He hasn't called. He sent her some stuff, she said, and about what he's writing about his sex escapades. Dude, how the fuck do you send your mom all the fucking stories you write about frickin' your sex experiences? Like, what the fuck, dude? How the fuck? She doesn't want to see him. I believe she said she didn't say it, but I could have swore she told him she didn't want to see that shit. And he just sends it to her. Yeah, his sexual experiences, he writes stories about him and started. That was, from what I understand, they hadn't talked in a long time since the last time he pulled his shit and disrupted us for frickin' 4 months when he decided to throw a fit. And that's the thing, he'll throw a fit, or he'll throw a fit, and Jan suffers for 3 months after that. And I do too. And that's how he tried to contact her most recently, sending stories about experiences in sex he has that he writes about online. Yeah, imagine that. People in their freaking misinformation, dude. Creating misinformation. It's all information. It's all information. Just different mediums.